Welcome to another edition of the NCBI Podcast. I'm June Tinsley, Head of Communications and Advocacy with NCBI. And today on my podcast, I have the joy of having a chat with Dylan Rees, who is originally from Wales, but now living in Waterford, and who's going to tell us all about his experience as being a vision impaired snooker player. So welcome, welcome, Dylan. And thanks very much for having a chat with me.
It's no problem at all. Anytime. Yeah, quite simply, it happened by chance for me. I've been playing snooker. You can tell by my accent there, I'm from Wales, but I've been here over 20 years now, and I've been playing snooker for nearly 40 years, I'd say. And but I've always had what they would term as a lazy eye or whatever, and they didn't pick it up when I was young. So I had next to no vision in my right eye. And of course, now that I'm at the grand old age of 50, over the last kind of 15 years, my left eye has got pretty poor. So, and it's just by chance that I met a friend of mine who was the chairman of Welsh Snooker over in Cardiff, and he lost an eye, believe it or not, in a bicycle accident, I think, when he was young. And he was telling me about this the World Disability Tour that he's on, and it's a mild form of disability. If it is a disability, it's obviously an impairment for me, and it causes problems, small problems in day-to-day running. But snooker-wise, he said to me, look, I know you play, why don't you come and join us? And this was I think it was about a year before COVID. And I managed to get two events in. So we had the English Open. I went over. I had an invite over to the Belgium Open, and I've played in 3 events in total, the UK Championships, and I've won all 3. So it's been it's an incredibly what's the right word? Uplifting place to be. There's over 150 players of all differing disabilities, and they're in all different kind of categories, if you like. I'd be in visually impaired group 7, and I'd be playing amongst 18 to 20 visually impaired people for the title, if you like. So okay. But it's been phenomenal. It's been a great part of my life over the last 3-4 years. Obviously COVID has derailed a few things, but yeah, it's been fantastic.
And tell us, in terms of those different groups and categories, all those activities don't take place just in Wales or across the UK. I presume there's a community in Ireland as well, is there?
Well, and this is I think the reason why I got in touch with you. I think is I'm also now for my sins, I'm the chairman of Irish Snooker. So I've been in place now for about 3 years. I went on the committee initially 3 years ago for this very reason, because there is no snooker activity in any for disabled people or anyone with an impairment. There's no platform for them. So I was just asked to come and join the committee there on the national board. I got on, and within 6 months I became the chairman, and now I'm running it. So. And what we have at the moment, we're still very, very early on because of COVID has derailed us. I don't need to tell you, obviously a lot of people that play with a disability have, anxiety, and rightly so. So it's been difficult to hold events. And we've only had one very small event thus far. We had 7 players present. There were 2 there with muscular dystrophy, and there was an amputee, and then there was a couple of visual impairment, and also 2 lads with a brain problem and things. So there was. It's been we're very, very, very early in the stage. From an NGB point of view, in the development of the disability game. So, and it's only going to improve over the years ahead. We will have our first national championships next year. where we'll crown. Again, SBI is the name of our NGB. It's Snooker and Billiards Ireland, and we'll crown an SBI disability champion next year. But yeah, we're very, very early on in that progression. So,
and I suppose Vision Sports is obviously a component part of NCBI, and it too is a NGB, which is the national governing body. So it would be something that would be very relevant for Vision Sports to pair up with yourselves to invite other visually impaired individuals who are passionate about snooker and billiards to link in with yourselves.
It'd be fantastic. I have to say, I have no experience in this area. We're all our NGB, SBI. We're all voluntary based individuals with 12 on the committee. But so we really are. I'd like to say that there's we have this professional drive with a strategy. We just don't. I'm taking everything I can from the WDBS, which is the World Disability body over in the UK, and we're having our guidance from them. But and again, when I contacted you a month or so ago, a couple of months ago, it was really for so that I can learn from you guys what you've learned from what you know about the visually impaired and sight issues and things, and we'll hopefully team up and have open days. We have a headquarters now, which is opened in Carlow. It's our centre of excellence. Right. It is a phenomenal facility. It's one of, if not the best in Europe, and one of the best in the world. And I've been driving that all the way through COVID. So that's open now, and it'll be open to you and all your members without question. We'll have coaches there for coaching, and it'll be a really fun day. It has to be a fun day. We won't take it too seriously, obviously. For those who have never picked up a cue before, and maybe there might be one or two that have played pool or something like that, or but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to meeting up with you guys. You're welcome down. We can just hopefully help us with a program that we can do annually.
And tell us, what kind of modifications do individuals need in order to play snooker and billiards? Obviously, the balls are coloured. Do you need to put a noise in the ball, as what happens in other blind tennis and blind football, for example? It becomes quite an audio-based game. So tell us how it works from a snooker and billiard point of view.
Well, it's simple. We're not that far developed. We're not that far down the line. So as it stands, the G7 group that I'm a part of with the World Disability in the UK there that I travel to, they are moderate visually impaired. So it's not blind. So we don't, as far as I'm aware, we don't have a facility that would allow us well, I don't know whether there's something we can do. I don't know. But as it stands, it's really for those who have a slight vision or an impairment, as opposed to being blind. So, but I haven't seen any development in snooker and pool anywhere for that. So unfortunately, but I'm massively keen to find out, now that you've just said that to me, about the balls possibly having a noise or of that nature. Maybe that's something we can look at, definite.
Well, I know it's kind of common in blind football, say to participate in that, individuals need to have a certain level of low vision in order to qualify for the sport. So I was just curious to see if there was any modifications on the standard snooker and billiard system that presently operates.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And I'm pretty sad to say there is nothing. But again, I have to stress, we are, we're not years into this. We are weeks into it. We're trying to we're trying to, another big word at the moment is inclusion and things like that. And of course, because figuratively speaking, my eyes have been open now to disability snooker and billiards and snooker. We're just, now is when we are opening the doors to everyone and everything. And we're going to have to learn things that I'm learning from you now. Just what you're saying, that I literally I wouldn't have seen anything thus far in relation to modified equipment within our game.
Okay.
That is something we can develop without question, but we are very, very early on in our development of this.
But as you say, at least the kind of template has already been established somewhat by virtue of the fact that the World Disability Billiards and Snookers Association is active right across the globe.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think it's been going for the World Disability has been going for, I think, around 7 years. They're hoping they're hoping to go out to, I think it's Dubai. They'll have an event out in Dubai at some stage next year. They'll be in Poland, I think, next year as well. And this is where, this will be great for you guys as well, is that there will be a World Disability event in Ireland next year. And we're hoping to hold that in and around March, April time next year. And it'll be the first World Disability event in Ireland ever. In our game, of course, in snooker and billiards. So,
and
that'll be in Carlow.
Yeah.
And it'll be, you'll be able to see for yourself. It won't be huge numbers, because what happens is it's all the development of the last 7 years has been done in the UK. And if you can imagine, I would say 80% of all participants are from the UK. Mainly English, but there are Welsh and there are Scottish. It becomes difficult for those with disabilities to travel when it comes to, if you're going on ferries, and, there's the financial aspect as well as the physical one. Yes. But in saying that, it's a start. We have to start somewhere, but there will be an event. We've had an agreement with them, and there'll be, 8 to 10 or maybe 12 visually impaired. There's 3 from Ireland. 2 of them have never played, including myself, of course. 2 of them wouldn't have played before in this event. And but it'll be brilliant. It'll be it'll be great to see you down there and come to the open days initially, and meet some. Actually, meet the representatives from World Disability. These are some of the biggest names in our sport. So. You may or may not have heard of a gentleman called Barry Hearn. He runs, he's the main promoter for World Snooker. So he'd be like for want of a better word, like a Don King character. He runs the game, but his number 2 will be over with us.
Right. Well, congratulations on getting such a status achieved so quickly, and already a significant championship on the horizon. And tell me, Dylan, you mentioned earlier about the different gradings and the different categories. And if individuals are placed within a group of other individuals who are blind or vision impaired, is it then subdivided based on age, or is it all just everyone who's vision impaired is placed together?
So at the moment it depends on numbers. There's a Scottish gentleman that plays. His name is Gary Gallagher, and I'll just use him as an example. His visual impairment hinders him more than myself, for argument's sake. So I can correct I wear special glasses that allow me to, Dennis, you would have seen Dennis Taylor possibly in the past when he won his World Championships with his huge glasses. Well, that's one of our aids, by the way. But Gary, whatever happened to him many years, he has peripheral vision. He struggles to see everything in front of him, but there's probably the wrong terminology there, but it is his vision is peripheral, but somehow he plays snooker and to a really high level, and it's amazing. So if for argument's sake we get big numbers at an event, which big numbers would be in excess of 20, then they will divide the groups up with that in mind. So someone like myself, I play at, I do play at a high level even with an impairment, but there are only 8 or 10 that have play, if you like, with a similar impairment to myself. There are people that play with worse eye conditions, and we would split into 2 groups at that stage. But unfortunately, if the numbers are reasonably low, which would be the case in Ireland, it would be great if we had 10 or 12, but the numbers will be reasonably low. So it'll be 1 group for all. And then it works out that you have, you would play best of 5 in sort of 5 best of 5 frames through the group stages, and then you would have a knockout stage then from the semi-final to a final, and that's usually the way it works.
Okay, excellent. And tell us, what kind of tournaments do you have coming up yourself for the remainder of this year?
Well, we are, believe it or not, we're at the quieter time now. We, as an NGB, we're going through the international season now. So we coming up in August. Just on a personal note, I've made the Irish team. I captained the Irish over 40s team this year for the first time in Leeds. And that's nothing to do with a disability now. This is straight snooker. And that'll be probably one of the biggest days of my sporting career, really. It's not a career, but it's at an amateur level.
Yes.
And it's a real honour for me it's a 4-man team, and that'll be in August. We have a few small events coming up, but they're more summer events and camps at the Centre of Excellence in Carlow. And then it'll be in end of September and October when we get back to a full season. The season is usually from, as I said, end of September right through until May. Okay,
so it nearly mimics an academic calendar then, really.
That's right, yeah. It's just, if you like, once the summer comes, you kind of, it's out. Once we get to May, the World Championships is a good indication, actually. Ronnie O'Sullivan won the World Championships there a few weeks back or a month or so ago, and once that is over, it's usually a good indication that the season is finished. But
okay, and tell us, Dylan, how come you chose Carlow as the Centre of Excellence? How did that centre come about?
Well, there's a gentleman up there. His name is Jim Lacey, and he again, he's kind of Mr. Snooker in Carlow, and he's been in and around snooker. He lives in Carlow, and he had his own very large, successful commercial club in Carlow for about 30 years.
Right.
And what happened was, quite again, long story short, he decided to move the premises on commercially. He sold that, but we stayed in Carlow. It was, if you like, it was our. It was a home for us. We used it as a base because it's such a fabulous facility. And the national coach lives there as a gentleman called PJ Nolan, and he lives in Carlow as well. So we just found it's an old Peugeot dealership that had been unoccupied for 8 to 10 years, and we've got a great deal, and we've converted it. It's been open 4 months now, and it is fabulous. So, but it doubles up as an academy as well. We have a little training zone there with smaller tables. So when you guys come to us for an open day, for argument's sake, you won't be going on to the big tables, which can be which are hard work. Obviously, you'll use them, but it's the small tables there that we have. We have 4 training tables that are 6x3, and they'll be great fun for everyone involved, really.
Brilliant. And thanks for the invitation. I'll certainly let our colleagues in Vision Sports know of the fact that this is essentially a open invitation to anyone young and old who are interested in snooker and billiards to to get to more familiar with the sport and try it out. And those who have never tried it but are interested can also participate. And what's the best way of getting in touch with you, Dylan?
Well, you have my number. There is a website. If you were to go on our website, it's sbireland.ie. You have all the contact details and phone numbers and things like that. You can browse through. You can actually see, the levels. There's many different levels of our sport. Lots of information again on tournaments and things like that. But you'll get all the information will be on that website, and then there's a number that you can call. I don't have it in front of me now, but there's a number on the website that you can call the HQ, and PJ is there. He'll answer. You can book a table, but otherwise just contact myself and we'll arrange a day or whatever. Really, whatever needs to be done, we'll do it for you. So,
and give us the website again, please, just for our listeners.
sbireland.ie.
S for Sarah, B for Barry. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. And I suppose just as always for our listeners, if you're interested in getting in touch with any of NCBI services, feel free to contact 1-800-911-250. Information about Vision Sports is also available on our website, or you can connect with Vision Sports through that telephone number. Anyone interested in finding out a little bit more about Snooker and Billiards Ireland can, as Dylan rightly says, jump onto their website, which is sbireland.ie. And Dylan, just to say thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. And we'll definitely be in touch with trying to arrange an open day with you, and to find out a little bit more how we can promote your competition in March. We'll keep in touch so that people are aware of it and can join the growing number of vision impaired billiard and snooker players.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Pleasure.